So the first thing we're going to do is look at Aries. Aries is known as the head. It's the beginning of the zodiac, and it's where the sun rises in the zodiac, okay? Aries. Why is Aries the head? That's your hippocampus. Inside your head, of course, this is your hippocampus. It's literally the center of your head in here, and it looks like ram's horns. That's what it appears. There it is right there, in case you want to see it. So let's move on. Let's look at Taurus. So now we went to Aries, we got the hippocampus. Let's go to the Taurus. Why is Taurus a bull? There's the constellation of Taurus. What is the main figure of Taurus? It's the head and the horns. This is called your jugular notch right here. It literally goes right up here and forms your neck right here. The neck is called your cervix. It's a ligament in the neck. Of course, you have it in the uterus as well, the cervix of the uterus, which means neck, right? It's the neck, it's the nape of the neck. The root of that is horn, head. So there's your bull horns. It's literally right here. Gemini, this one's pretty simple. It's twins. Well, what are twins? When you get past the neck, what is it? Then you start splitting in two. You get twins. You get 2 shoulders and 2 arms and 2 hands, and then it leads to 2 legs. And that's where the twins start. Now let's go to Cancer. Why is Cancer the chest? There's what your chest is. You ever feel your chest? You go down here and you can feel, and it goes like this. It splits out right here. You feel that? This constellation, if we look at it right here and goes up here, do you know where it's right leading to? The next constellation, which is the neck, the Taurus. Your jugular notch. Your jugular notch of your Taurus, of your neck, of your cervix, leads right to the Cancer of the chest, and that's exactly what it's doing. Then not only that, what does your chest do? Just like the top of a crab, what does it do? It has that hard shell to protect it. What is your chest doing? That, right? Okay, let's go to Leo. Why is Leo the heart? Leo, number 1, is a fire sign, and of course we have the fire in our hearts, right? This is in fact, a heart is just a variation of hearth. What's hearth? It's a fireplace. That's what it is. That's what a hearth is. That's where you put your fire. This is where the spark of God actually lies. It's within your heart. This is why you can be brain dead, but you can't be heart dead. Because that's where the actual life is. It's in your heart. A group of lions is called a troop or assault. A family of lions is called a pride. Right? And it's like this notion, pride before the fall. Leo is the constellation right before the fall, if you will. So there's Leo, July, then you get into August, and next thing you know what? You're getting into fall. You're in a spiritual pursuit. What is the thing that you have to control the most? Ego and pride. Ego and pride. Pride, etymologically, is, of course, unreasonable self-esteem, especially as one of the deadly sins. Haughtiness, overbearing, treatment of others, pomp, love of display, full of pride, arrogant, insolent, scornful. Those are the things you have to control. Let's move down to Virgo. Once again, this one's pretty simple, right? Virgo is what? Virgo represents, of course, the purification. That's what virginity means, purification. Well, what does your belly do? That's what it does. It takes the food in, and it takes all the nutrients that it needs for the body, and then it gets rid of the rest out back. What is the Virgo? It's the abdomen, it's the intestines, it's the gallbladder, it's the pancreas, it's the liver. What does the liver do? Purifies. Let's go to Libra. What is Libra? It's balance. Why is there scales? Why it's a balance? Well, that's what your hips do. It's your hips. Libra is associated with the hips, and that's what your hips do. This is the balance point between your upper and your body, or your upper and your lower body. And then they just give you scales, just balance. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Now let's look at the Scorpio. Once again, this is a pretty straightforward one, right? What's another thing you have to control as a man? Your sexual energy. Why is that related to the Johnson & Johnson, your regenerative member? Well, just look. I mean, come on. It's this long tail of a Scorpio that can totally sting you, could totally get you. Now we go down, we get our Sagittarius right there, and that's on your legs. That's the start of your legs. What's Sagittarius, by the way? What's Sagittarius? It is a figure in which it's the head of it's the body of a man, and then the rest of it is a horse, okay? And what are horses? They're strong, right? I mean, that's the whole idea. That's why you get the notion of horsepower, correct? Well, that's your horsepower right there. The femur of the thigh bone is the longest, heaviest, and strongest bone in the human body. It's okay. Now let's go to Capricorn. Your kneecaps. That's what they're called. It's called your patella, and it's also called your kneecaps. What is a cap? something you put on your head, right? This cap, just like a Capricorn. Well, what are your kneecaps? Well, they're like a covering that you put on your head, except it goes on your knee. Here's what the Capricorn looks like. What does that look like to you? Does that look like a dish? Does that look like a cup? And what is the most distinguishing characteristic of your knee, besides the fact that it bends and it has an angle? It has a cap. When you look at the etymology of cab, this is what it is. Once again, see cab. It's a goat. Let's see cab. And what is it? It's light 2- or 4-wheeled horse-drawn carriage. We're talking about our Capricorn knees. What's right above our knees? Horses. Sagittarius. Next up is, of course, my constellation, Aquarius. Aquarius is a water bearer. What are we dealing with here? This water. Water in your calves, water in your Pisces. And do you know where you retain water? In your feet and your legs. The body parts that retain the most amount of water are the ankles, feet, and legs. You know this. You've probably had your legs swell up before. And where did they swell up? It's all sinking down and going to the very bottom, and that is where you're retaining water. And that leads us all the way down to what? The Pisces and the 2 fish. And it's where you retain water. Water in your calves, all the way down to your feetsies there. And why is it 2 fish? Well, of course, we understand that we have 2 feet. But what are you doing? What is the symbolism of the 2 fish here? What are you doing in this incarnation, right? You're walking through time. You're in this sense, you're a vessel put into the fluidity of time, into the waters above and waters below, and you're going through the fluidity of time, and you're walking through that, if you will.